Hi, this is Meg Patriquin. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person, but I've lined up something fun for you. We have three fabulous Candlewick editors lined up to present their books to you directly. Our editors are Mary Lee Donovan, Katie Cunningham, and Hilary Van Dusen. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Mary Lee. I'm going to be presenting three titles to you. And the first one is Felix Stands Tall, the first book in a new series by Rosemary Wells. In Felix Stands Tall, Fiona, a classmate, asks Felix if he already has a best friend. When he answers no, Fiona just charges right in, decides that she and Felix are going to be best friends. And of course, best friends do everything together. She enlists him to participate in a talent show, but there's trouble afterwards. Felix is teased by other classmates, and these bullies keep after Felix, and Fiona does not like what she sees happening, and Fiona stares down the terrible three after their teasing just gets to be too much, and Felix is aghast and in awe of what Fiona is able to do, and he asks her, "How did you do that? How can I do that?" And Fiona tells him, "Well, it's just my invisible suit of armor." She says, "Here, you can borrow another one. I have an extra." So he puts it on, and Felix is able to stand tall and face down his bullies. It's a wonderful lesson that he's learned in terms of confidence and self-esteem and really standing up for yourself. Rosemary Wells is very excited about this series because she sees this, especially this first book, as a wonderful antidote to bullying. Sort of that skill at getting to know each other and making friends, she thinks is really the foundation for helping kids. Judy, Moody, and Stink are back in their fourth full-color joint adventure in Judy, Moody, and Stink, The Wishbone Wish. In this one, McDonald is at the top of her form, terrific humor. So in this book, there is going to be a turkey trot. As you can imagine, things don't go quite as they may have planned, and there's a lot of sort of substitutes, if you will, for the Thanksgiving meal. So they have quite a memorable Thanksgiving meal at Grandma Lou's. All kinds of wonderful messages in this book. We've got Judy and Stink practicing for the turkey trot. Stink gets out his stopwatch, and there's all sorts of fun about timing each other, rehearsing. And then, of course, there's the wonderful message of community and doing something to give back to your community. Counting Lions, written by Katie Cotton and illustrated with amazing charcoal illustrations by Stephen Walton. And the illustrations are really the main event here. They take up most of the spread. And then the text itself is very poetic, very lyrical and brief and gorgeous. And in the back of the book, there are additional facts about each of the animals and about why they are considered endangered or threatened and what's happening to their populations. Stephen Walton works in a very interesting way. He first takes photographs of wildlife, and then he creates these charcoal drawings from his photographs. Really, really amazing detail. This is not only showing us a lion, an elephant, a zebra, a turtle, but it asks us to count them. And counting animals has become very important. It's because the numbers of these wild animals are in crisis and diminishing. I really encourage you to take a look at this book. I think it's going to just win you over instantly with the gorgeousness of the language and those magnificent illustrations.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Cunningham. I am here to talk to you today about Honor Girl, which is written by Maggie Thrash. It's a memoir. Maggie Thrash spent basically every summer of her 15-year-old life in the 100-year-old Camp Bellflower for girls, set deep in the heart of Appalachia, accessible only by man-pushed barge, distinguished by its mandatory daily Civil War reenactments. She's from Atlanta. She's into the Backstreet Boys in a really deep way, and her long summer days are full of a pleasant, peaceful sort of nothing. Until one confounding moment. A split second of innocent physical contact during a lice inspection pulls Maggie into gut-twisting love for an older, wiser, and most surprising of all, female counselor named Erin. But Camp Bellflower is an impossible place for a girl to fall in love with another girl, and Maggie's sudden proficiency on the camp's rifle range is the only thing that focuses her mind and keeps her heart from exploding. When it seems as if Erin maybe feels the same way about Maggie, It's maybe too much for both Maggie and Camp Bellflower to endure, let alone understand. Honor Girl is a romantic, devastating, hilarious memoir which will make you laugh and break your heart from a captivating new voice. It's an authentic debut of the richest kind, and I'm so honored that we have it on our list. On the first Christmas, so say the Christians, a Redeemer was born to save our kind from the consequences of our greed, waste, pride, cruelty, and arrogance. No Redeemer appeared for the animals, however. None was needed. The animals were much the same then as they are now, just as God made them, perfect according to his plan. There were, however, a few animals who were profoundly influenced by the events in Bethlehem on that first Christmas, the Nativity, or rather, the circumstances surrounding it, changed their lives forever. This is their story. So begins this resonant tale by one of our most perceptive animal watchers, Elizabeth Marshall Thomas. When an unusual star appears on the horizon one clear winter night, among those drawn to its bright promise are two shepherds, that is, a dog named Lila and a goat named Ema. Therein lies an adventure and departure from the familiar story. With their flock, the animals journey to Bethlehem, witnesses to a redemption of which they have no need. These two sinless animals undertake a journey rife with danger and opportunity, but the trip, the book, becomes an extraordinary meditation, moving but never sentimental, on the nature of freedom and the state of grace in the natural world, especially when compared with the power and frailty of humankind.
Hello, this is Hilary Van Dusen, and I have a couple of my titles that I'd like to tell you about. The first one is The Boy Who Fell Off the Mayflower by P.J. Lynch. This is the first book that PJ has both written and illustrated, and it is absolutely magnificent. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. John Howland is a teenage indentured servant, and he has a berth aboard the Mayflower. The story starts with John Howland leaving London aboard the Mayflower for the first leg of the trip to Southampton. By the time he is mid-Atlantic, the seas are stormy, the below decks are rancid, and John Howland is looking for some fresh air on deck. At once, he is swept overboard by a wave washing down the deck. In a miraculous rescue involving a line dragged behind the heaving ship, John Howland is saved, thus the good fortune part of the title. You all know the story of the Pilgrims landing in Plymouth and slowly building homes, planting crops, fighting illness and severe weather, and celebrating the first Thanksgiving. But I'll bet you haven't heard this story told from the perspective of a teenager. Like most teenagers I know, John has a hard time making decisions. He prefers to stick with his buddies, and he is shy about catching the eye of the girl he admires. PJ's first go at storytelling is masterful. He uses diction appropriate for the time. Storytelling aside, what is going to steal the eyes and hearts of people who pick up this book is the magnificent art. Art so fine it could be hung on a museum wall, but at the same time tells the story of a young adult on the adventure of his life in making his way in a new world. I work with no better storyteller than Martin Sandler. Not only can he tell a good story, but he can write an even better one. When he finished The Impossible Rescue, his first book with Candlewick, I knew we had to come up with an idea that would equal or surpass the true life adventure and rescue story of that book. When Marty proposed a book about the race of rails from west to east and east to west to build the Transcontinental Railroad, I knew that was just the story for him to tell. There are scoundrels, embezzlers, heroes, and two armies of sweating, straining, hard-working men in this American story. But there are also hundreds of Native Americans whose homeland is torn apart by the construction. They were given no choice but to move out of the way. There was retaliation and sabotage, but that didn't stop the progress of the railroad. There is one wife who travels with the Central Pacific work crew from beginning to end, making an enviable home out of a train car. There are explosives, avalanches, and collapsing bridges. Ending it all is the meeting of East and West in a celebration that was broadcast across the country thanks to the telegraph wires that were placed along the tracks. The book is written for ages 10 and up, takes place just after the end of the Civil War, and pits one railroad company against the other in an epic race to join the two sides of the country. The book is beautifully designed in a landscape format to take advantage of the stunning photos of the varied and challenging terrain, the equipment and manpower at work, the characters running the show, and the locomotives. For train enthusiasts, American history buffs, engineering enthusiasts, and lovers of a good story.
It's Meg again. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions about any of our Candlewick books, please feel free to get in touch with me. My email is on the screen. Take care. Bye.